Stream today. My name is James Tudor-Williams from Force 4 Chandlery, and with me for this chat I've got Pete Ford from Crewsaver.
Hi James, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm very well. Yourself?
Yeah, all good, thank you. All good.
Good. Today we're going to have a chat about Crewsaver's new inflatable dinghy range for 2021. Take a look at the different models that are available, capabilities, what you might be using them for, and who might be interested. Pete, I'm sure most of the customers and people watching are probably familiar with who Crewsaver are, but can you tell us a bit about yourself and what you do for Crewsaver? And then for anyone not familiar with Crewsaver, maybe give a bit of background on Crewsaver and what they do?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. My name is Pete Ford. I've been working for Crewsaver for 26 years, something like that now. Various roles within the company. These days, part of the UK sales team. I'm based predominantly in the southwest. Cover southwest, South Wales up to Midlands, etc., and kind of various roles in the background as well, sort of thing. So Crewsaver has been around making life jackets for I think just over 60 years, that sort of ballpark. So heritage in that sort of part of the market. Developed really the first people to develop the sort of gas inflated life jackets. Prior to that, it was kind of orally inflated, so it's just kind of added those kind of automatic and gas inflated systems. Work very closely as well as a big sort of presence in the leisure market. Do a lot into the commercial side of things. Work very closely with big organisations such as the RNLI, SNSM, which is the French Search and Rescue guys, Environment Agency in the UK, a lot of also sort of energy, especially wind energy, where you're getting transfers to wind farms and things, and defence as well. And that specialist capability, I guess, is why we caught the eye of Savitec, which is our parent company. They are the biggest global marine safety company, full stop. Again, predominantly commercial based, but links into the energy market and defence. Actually, the world's biggest manufacturer of life rafts, with all the different companies that they own. So a lot of the rafts that you'll see on ferries and cruise ships and commercial vessels and things like that are Savitec companies.
Oh, sweet.
Kind of a background of who we are and what we do, really.
Nice one. Anyone watching today, if you've got any questions about the dinghies we're going to be talking about or any other Crewsaver queries, please do feel free to ask us in the live chat. If you're not watching live, leave us a comment on the YouTube video or head to our Facebook, and either we'll get back to you or we'll forward it on to Pete and Pete will get back to you. So as I mentioned, and as far as I'm aware, Crewsaver have never done inflatable boats before. So how or why did this come about?
No, it's a new product range for us. Obviously, we do a lot of products, compatible products into the same sort of markets, into the leisure sailing market, leisure boating markets, if you like, with life jackets and buoyancy aids, that sort of thing. So kind of, I guess, using Savitec's group capabilities, this sort of thing where they have a heavy background in inflatable products, including rafts, etc., as mentioned. We have access to other products. This range of boats is actually been in the market for a few years now, kind of 3-4 years, by one of our sister companies within group, sort of thing. So it's a tried and tested product. It was quite an easy add-on for us because it's kind of technology we know about as a company. There's a history of the product being in the market, so very much from our point of view, we always want to make sure it's a quality range of products, so we can give kind of the best experience to our customers who have come to kind of know Crewsaver as a quality product, a quality brand. So it's actually it's actually a range of boats that's sourced from elsewhere within our group, with history to it, sort of thing. So and something that we felt that we could easily offer into the UK leisure market at competitive prices and good quality, really. So
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, that's the basis for it.
Nice. So, what models of dinghies or types of dinghies have Crewsaver decided to go with?
Fundamentally, two different styles, in each of those in 3 different sizes. So there's a range, hopefully, to meet most people's requirements. The first of which is the air deck, so it has an inflatable floor, and then a more traditional slatted floor. Probably if kind of I show my screen, you can get a better idea of what the boats are like. So we have the air deck, which fundamentally uses what a lot of people are familiar with, which is the stand-up paddleboard sort of drop stitch construction in its floor. And that drop stitch construction means the whole of the floor section inflates, adds quite a lot of rigidity to the boat. So it's a bit less flexible in the floor area, and a bit more comfortable sort of thing than a slatted floor would conventionally be. The boats styles themselves are quite similar, the floor being the main differentiator between the two. A couple of other little things. The slatted floor also has an adjustable seat, so you can move the seat backwards and forwards, just depending on who's in the boat and what you're carrying at the time. And then the more traditional slatted floor that's been around in the tender market for kind of many years does make it a little bit more economic. It sits at a slightly lower price point than the air deck floor would do. Doesn't have the sliding seat on this one. It's one of the other features, differences between the two. But it's for people that kind of know and like slatted floor boats. It's a very straightforward option. With all of them, they come. Yeah, you've got oars and all the bits and pieces with it. You can put outboards on them, etc., sort of thing. So yeah, those are the two main styles. And at this stage, we've got you've got in the air deck, we do a 2 meter, a 2.3, and 2.6. And then in the slatted, we do a 1.8, 2.1, and 2.4. So you've got your choices depending on which style you prefer and which size you want, really. So yeah. And
like I say, but budgetary difference, the value difference there. So depending on what you've got an option for sort of everyone there.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got kind of that lower entry-level price point, and then going through if you want something that's technically a little bit better with the air decks, then it's going to cost you a little bit more, but not a lot more. So.
Nice. Well, like you say, it's kind of the typical sort of dinghy you'd expect, but it sounds like with Crewsaver's background, a bit of extra quality and stuff there.
Hopefully. Yeah.
Well, my understanding is that you've gone with they're PVC, aren't they? So how does PVC compare with Hypalon?
So it basically, Hypalon's a great material. It's super bulletproof. It's a very hard wearing material. It is heavier though, sort of thing, which is a consideration if you're moving the boat around regularly. It's something you've got to consider. It works really well. Hypalon works really, really well for the kind of the bigger style boats where you're perhaps putting a bigger engine in it. You're potentially going a little bit faster because of that. You're potentially hitting beaches a bit faster, and you want something that's a little bit more robust. PVC construction is, I guess, a good compromise between durability, weight, and price. A PVC boat is a less expensive material than Hypalon, but it's durable. It lasts very, very well. It's lighter, which is as I say, especially when you're packing them down and wanting to carry them around between 1 or 2 people, then that weight becomes a fairly significant difference, sort of thing. And the price as well. We're kind of not. We're trying to be fairly realistic with the price points on this boat range. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, to appeal to the mass market, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I've been with Force 4 for 10, 11 years myself, and I think 90% of the boats that we ever sold or did anything with a PVC, and Hypalon was only really recommended for. It's a bit more UV robust. So if you were keeping your boat, if you had a boat in the Med or something like that, and you'd know your dinghy's on deck or you're towing your dinghy, you'd have a hyperlon dinghy there, but we don't really get.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Whatever, we don't really get Mediterranean sun.
Fingers crossed. You never know. Absolutely. I think that is the one thing you do have to be aware of with PVC is prolonged UV exposure sort of things. Probably not a good idea. Not, as you say, something we have too much of an issue with in the UK, but if you're in sunnier climes, then yeah, something you need to be aware of. Either cover it over or yeah, just kind of get it out of the sun. Don't leave it for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, sort of in yeah, blazing hot sun. It's probably not going to do a great deal of good.
Speaking of the fabrics, then, do Crewsaver offer any sort of warranty on the fabric or construction or anything like that?
You've got a 2-year warranty on all of the range, so it's kind of over and above your kind of usual 1 year. 2-year warranty against any manufacturing or material defects. So yeah, absolutely, and we pride ourselves on being kind of quite proactive on warranty. If you've got an issue, we'll sort it out for you, you know. So one other thing to mention, it is worth rinsing them out. If you are using them regularly on salt water, do rinse them out every now and then with fresh water. That always prolongs the life of anything. Salt will attack everything. Cleaning wise, a PVC sort of approved cleaning material. There are lots of them on the market. You probably know that better than I do. Realistically, you probably have a range of products in the shops that would very well keep them nice and clean and tidy. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to lead on to asking maintenance, but yeah, I think you mentioned it there. Like, always good idea to get the salt water off, especially if you're packing it away in the bag, like you would with a paddle board or something like that. And yeah, I guess we've got like Rib Shine, Starbright Inflatable Boat Cleaner, any of like August Braced Inflatable Boat Cleaner, any of those that you might use on a bigger rib, I'd probably be absolutely fine on.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as it's okay for use on PVC, there shouldn't be any issue whatsoever. It's a good quality material. So yeah.
Nice. So I think you mentioned it a bit briefly earlier, but let's just drill down into that. So what is the customer getting when they buy the dinghy? I mean, you mentioned oars, the seat, obviously. What else is in the box? Yeah,
so you go again. If maybe have a quick look at my screen. I'm going to zip through some images here, just the valves, and you've got self bailer and things like that. So you get your oars, which are 2-piece. So they will pack down inside the bag really nice and easily. They also are held in place so you can't lose them, sort of thing. So when they're on the boat, they're secured in place. So it's not like kind of your old kind of Rolex that you could your oar could fall off or anything like that. So you get foot pump, just a fairly standard high volume sort of bellows style foot pump, but it actually pumps the boat up really well and really effectively without over inflating it. You get a repair kit, so if you did manage to damage it, if you did manage to put a hole in it or anything like that, you can repair that. And depending on the you also get a mooring line. Sorry, probably haven't got a picture of that, but depending on the style, you either get with the air decks, you get a backpack style bag, so you can put that on your back, or you get more of a traditional valise with the slatted floor, carrying handles obviously on the sides and on the ends, so you can either carry it one person or a couple of people can carry that. So yeah, you would get all that. Comes in the box with it, sort of thing. So you're ready to go out of the box, really.
Well, that's basically everything you need straight to go.
Yeah, exactly that.
Obviously, would you recommend Buoyancy Aids, life jackets? You know,
yes, yeah, that's the thing that isn't in there, and certainly something you should always consider, which is depending on where you're going, either a life jacket, gas inflated life jacket, or a buoyancy aid. Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you got one of those on. Make sure the people that are going in the boat have access to those. So, just add buoyancy, and you're good to go.
Good to go. Well, of course, we want everyone to stay safe out on the water. You mentioned rowing. Obviously, the air deck has the adjustable seat for rowing. The slatted one doesn't. People don't like rowing, or I don't like rowing.
No one likes rowing.
So I'm hoping you can stick an engine on the boat. Or you said
absolutely. So it depends on the size of the boat. Then you've got I would from 2.5 through to 5 horsepower, depending on the size, sort of thing. So of your traditional sort of petrol outboards, if you like. Although certainly they're growing in popularity, they're like I think you guys do, like the little torpedoes and things like that. Those little electric, or Minn Kota or whoever, that those self-contained kind of battery run sort of little outboards. Absolutely brilliant. They're so quiet and packed down, and you haven't got the petrol issue and the rest of it, sort of thing.
So anything like
that. Sorry.
So much lighter as well.
Yeah, and exactly. It's me. You get the backpack one of these, and then your outboard goes in a little pack, and as well. So your backpack on, engine in your hands, and you're good to go, sort of thing. So it's but those are great, and it just means you're not making as much noise or spilling petrol all over the inside your car. So yeah.
So that's awesome. Is there then? Would you say there's a particular type of person that these have been aimed at, or particular use, or is it just kind of like a job for anyone, or
pretty much for anyone? What obviously there is the traditional sort of boat tender where you're using it to get to and from your boat, which is moored away from the shore slightly. But what we've seen is over the last couple of years is just this boom in the general water sports, and people wanting to access the water, be it through, as I'm sure you're aware, the stand-up paddleboard market has just exploded. But a similar sort of thing to that. There's no reason that all what it's about is people accessing the water, getting to places that they can't do by car or even by foot sometimes, sort of thing. Getting to those little beaches where you can have a picnic and you won't see anybody else because nobody else can get to it, sort of thing. But with this, you can, it's sort of the same sort of price as a stand-up paddleboard, but you can get 2 or 3 people in them, sort of thing. So depending on the size. So yeah, mixed. Your traditional sort of tender market, but also just there's so much water in the UK, and it's another way of accessing it. In and around inland waterways and estuaries and up some of the little creeks and go and explore.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm fortunate enough to move down on the River Hamble, and I think the top end near me, you see a lot of groups of paddleboarders, but you are also seeing more people. If you're a family, you can't fit a family on a paddleboard, and to buy 3 paddleboards is a luxury that some people can't. So you can get a dinghy for the same price as a paddleboard-ish, or a large enough one for 3 people, and you see families taking picnics up and down rivers and lakes near them, getting to things. So
why not? Yeah, absolutely. Make the most of it.
No, it's nice. It's nice that it's something that everyone can enjoy. I mentioned about a family there. Let's move. I've got some quick questions sort of to run through. If you had a family of 3, what sort of size do you reckon you'd be looking at?
Probably the bigger sizes. Realistically, you're probably looking at the 240s, 260s, that sort of thing. I think if we jump onto my screen for a second, we'll give you an idea of size actually up against people. So the picture here, we've got these are 230s, and if I go through so you can kind of get an idea of how big they are. There is a picture here where we've got Nick and Brett in a 230. Nick's a good 6'2", I think, in there. So, and obviously Brett sat right on the front. Normally, if you've got an engine on the back of that, you would probably is going to weight the back of the boat a little bit more. You're going to sit on the tube rather than, and then somebody else can then sit on the seat, so it'll kind of even the weight distribution a little bit. But yeah, just give you an idea of what the sizes are like. You're not going to sink it with 2 or 3 people in there any day of the week. So there's plenty of buoyancy. But yeah, so realistically, if you were putting a little engine on the back of it and you wanted kind of mum, dad, and a kid in there, sort of thing, then you'd probably be better off looking for some of the bigger sizes. If it's just you and a few bags getting backwards and forwards from the boat, and you're only going to need one of the smaller ones, sort of thing. So it depends on what you're carrying. taking a picnic with you, you're going to need a little bit more room than if you're not taking anything.
It's good to see, like this, like I say, that's the 230. There's 2 people in there. Fair enough. If you had an engine on the back and you could probably carry your luggage, if you were using it as a tender, that looks like a decent size.
Yeah.
How easy is it to pack up, but like get back into the bag, would you say?
It's pretty easy. To be fair, obviously, actually the bags are all one size essentially, so it's a little bit more difficult to get the bigger ones in, but than the smaller ones. So the smaller ones go in really easy. But all you do, basically, all the valves for the tubes and for the floor are all at the front. So you can just kind of push and twist the valves so they stay open. And then you do is basically roll it up from the transom forward sort of thing, and all the air as you're rolling it, well, kind of rolling / folding, because you've got that solid section in the transom sort of thing, and with the slatted floor, you just kind of roll it forward, and it's pretty straightforward. You know, if you pay attention to how it comes out the bag, it's very easy to repack it, how it goes back in the bag sort of thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, say all the oars come apart and everything. So yeah, it's quite straightforward.
It's nice that the oars are jointed and go back in the same bag, so you're not lugging around.
Yeah. We've not got to have those separate.
Do we know what? I'm sure we've probably got it on the website, but what size is it packed up roughly? Do we have the? Is it easy to chuck into the back of a car? Or
yeah, so you're looking. I'm just referring to my notes here. Obviously, we've got spec sheets, and I know you guys have as well. All the spec sheets are on our website, on your website, and I'm sure they'll be linked in the videos afterwards, sort of thing. So, but essentially, it's 80 centimeters by 40 by 45 is pretty much what you're looking at. So you can pick it up. And it will go in the boot of your car, no real issue at all, sort of thing. So.
I think I've actually got a picture of one of the people from here up at head office with the bag on his back. So
there you go.
There you go. So that'll be one of the air decks, because that's a backpack, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, the slatted come in kind of valise hold-all style of bag rather than the backpack.
Okay, nice. Well, yeah, that's like say that looks like a pretty decent size, easy to carry.
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah.
That leads on to then, how long would you say roughly that it takes to inflate with the pump that it comes with, just like the basic bellows?
Yeah. And realistically, it doesn't really need a lot more than that, because it's kind of 5-10 minutes and it's all up, sort of thing. So it's the boat is split into sections, so you just blow one section up at a time, sort of thing, and it's very straightforward to do. You say assemble the paddles and just kind of drop those onto the spindles that they sit on. And you're good to go. So yeah, it's probably 10 minutes and you're on the water. So it's very, very straightforward, and those bellows will blow it up to enough. There'll be enough pressure in there. They're not going to overinflate it, which you've got. Not ideal, but so it's especially if you're going to leave it in the sun or anything like that. Just temperature variables, but the bellows work really, really well and inflate it quite quickly. They're fairly high volume, so you get a lot of air through them.
Oh, nice. So those bellows be fine for getting the air deck up to pressure length? They got
no problem at all. Absolutely, yeah.
And like you say, it's important to inflate the air deck to the correct pressure, because
you'd fully inflate it as much as you could with that pump that's supplied with the boat. It doesn't matter if you didn't fully inflate it; you just end up with a bit of a spongy boat. It's a bit like a stand-up paddleboard. If you didn't inflate it fully, you'd fully expect it to bend in the middle and the ends will go up. Same is going to happen with your boat if you don't fully inflate it. It's going to be a bit of a sloppy ride. So
not very comfortable. Probably
not very comfortable. And inflating the floor properly on the air deck is what gives it the rigidity as well, sort of thing. So, which is, if you've gone to the benefit of the air deck over the slatted, you might as well inflate it properly. So.
That makes sense. I've got a bit of a silly one to finish with, but we do get asked it in the shops, and I'm sure you've probably been asked it at boat shows and things like that. how do we know it's not going to pop?
Well, you don't know it's not going to pop. If you run it into something sharp enough, hard enough, it will pop.
Yeah.
The two plus sides is that it is a multi-chamber boat sort of thing. So it's not just one, and if you pop that, the whole thing's, it's not like an airbed that it's all over sort of thing. So with the you've either got 2 or 3 chambers depending on the size of the boat. So the bigger boats have 3 chambers in the tubes. And the smaller boats have 2. With the air deck, you've got the addition of the floor as well, which acts as a buoyant chamber too, sort of thing. So so with that, in that case, you've got 3 plus 1 in the bigger air deck. So it is possible to pop. It's possible to pop anything, sort of thing. But you do get a repair kit. So if you manage to do that, you can quite easily repair it. It's not a oh, I've got to throw it away. It can be repaired to live another day, sort of thing. So but do be a little bit careful.
Just a note on or just a quick question on the repair kit. I'm guessing you're getting that like a 1-part adhesive.
Essentially it's like a contact adhesive, patches, etc. in there, sort of thing. So and instructions on how to do it as well. So it is pretty straightforward. So, yeah.
Nice. Well, they sound like good boats. So I mean, I'm glad that we've got them in. I think we've had them maybe a week and they're already selling well. So
I know you guys have committed to them and are seeing the sell through, which is great. So we're very, very pleased.
No, brilliant
with how they're going. So it's great.
Well, I think that covers pretty much everything about them, to be honest. Is there anything else that you want to say or mention?
I think that's obviously, as mentioned before, if kind of for all the finite detail, then your website, our website, sort of thing, and which there'll be links to in the video. Then there's more information. There's data sheets, etc.
I think we've got them uploaded onto the website.
I'm sure you have. But so that information, if people do want to kind of study the different sizes, dimensions, and weights, etc., all that information is readily available.
Awesome. Well, Pete, thank you so much for coming to talk to us about the new range of Crewsaver inflatable boats. It's been a pleasure.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you to everyone out there that's been watching or joining along, or if you're tuning in later, thanks again for that. Thank you to Elise, our producer, who's out there somewhere behind the scenes. My name's been James. It's been a pleasure as well. We will